Hi, I'm Jay. That's not my real name, but it's what I'll go by here in this podcast. First of all, thank you for tuning in to this channel. To provide a certain context, I'm a middle aged male, Southeast Asian, Chinese by heritage. I live in the suburbs of one of the major cities in Southeast Asia. I'm college educated with an engineering degree from a Western country. I spent the last 20 or so years working my way up into a management role in multiple manufacturing and supply chain. Boring stuff, I know, but there will be a reason for this later. I've led teams, I've fired people, I've sat in meetings that went nowhere. I've stayed up late, went to work at sunset, and went home at sunrise. Trust me when I say I've done the grind. My reward? That nice letter which states that I was being made redundant. But that's a full story in itself. I'll talk about that in another episode. I'm married, been with my wife for nearly 23 years now. We met in college when I was 19. We dated for a long time and finally got married at 30. Our first child, a daughter, was born when we were 33. She's smart, very sensitive, and asks 1,000 questions in a day. Our second child, a boy, was born when we were 36. He was diagnosed with a form of achondroplasia, which is a type of dwarfism, for those who don't know the term. It's changed the way I look at everything, from managing the doctor visits to how we plan our future. It's also made me think a lot more about control, or the illusion of it. At the end of the day, what is control? I think many of us, especially men around my age, walk around with a version of life that we were told to expect. Study hard, get a good job, marry someone kind, raise a family, eventually save for retirement. And in between all that, don't cause any trouble. But no one ever really teaches you what to do when things don't go as planned. When the love in your marriage starts to fade, when your career gets cut off suddenly, or when your child needs to be more than just a provider, to be emotionally present, constantly adapting, quietly, and being strong. This channel is my way of making sense of all that. It's not advice. You shouldn't take anything I say here as something to follow. I believe half the time it is I who need some form of advice from you, the listeners. It's definitely not a guidebook. I'm not trying to inspire you to crush it or optimize your potential or whatever the internet sells these days. It's more like a voice memo I'm leaving out in the open. If it lands somewhere, great. If not, that's okay too. I created Under the Surface because I believe there's value in stories, especially the ones we don't usually share. The ones that live in the silence of car rides or in the space between a couple lying in bed back to back. The stories that don't show up in Instagram captions or LinkedIn promotions. I want this to be a space where someone, maybe you, hears something familiar and feels a little less alone. Or at least pauses for a moment to say, yeah, I felt that too. A lot of podcasts out there are either full of high energy motivation or just mindless noise. Don't get me wrong, there's a place for both, but this isn't that. This is a slow podcast. It's for when you're stuck in traffic and you don't want another mindless prank call segment from the morning radio. Or when you've played the same 12 songs on your playlist for the 5th day in a row. Or when that audiobook that you downloaded is just a bit too heavy for a Tuesday morning commute. I'll talk about work sometimes, the kind of work that grinds you down quietly. I'll talk about marriage, the reality of it, not the romantic version, but the part where you share a home with someone and slowly forget how to talk to each other. I'll talk about raising a child with special needs, what it does to your pride, what it does to your patience, what it teaches you about love, the real kind or the hard kind. I'll also talk about money, something that I'm very passionate about how I've learned to live below my means, about how I count every cent, and why freedom means more to me now than status ever did. Sometimes I might talk about politics, religion, or culture, or something I saw that annoyed me, something a 40-year-old may encounter living his life in this part of the world. I'll also occasionally quote things I've read in these episodes, from books, essays, maybe even movies. Not to sound clever, but because I'm the kind of person who underlines sentences and forgets why I needed them until weeks later. Also, because there are so many good lessons from the mountains of books out there, surely I'm not the only one who can learn from it. Each episode will be short, around 15 minutes or so. Just enough for your coffee break, or on your short drive, or on a quiet walk that you do on your evenings. Some will be heavier, some will be light. Some might sound like noise to you, but it's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, but know someone who could use these words, then feel free to share it with them. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not trying to be an influencer or build a brand. I'm just a man, mid-life, mid-career, mid-thought, talking about things most of us keep to ourselves. If that sounds like something you want to tune into, then you're very much welcome. If not, I totally understand. There's plenty of noise out there. You've got to be careful what you let into your head. But if you do stay, then all I can say is thank you very much for listening. For now, that's it. I'm Jay, and this is Under the Surface. Talk to you soon. Thank you.